Hi guys, hello and welcome. Yay! We have got the lovely Linda with us tonight, and Monica, of course, who is our resident Londonite. Well, she's in London anyway. So welcome, Linda. Lovely to have you here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Okay, so we're going to go straight in to these 9 questions. So, number 1, when was your first spiritual experience?
Well, I'm told that by family that as a child I would interact, communicate with people that they couldn't actually see. So I don't have a direct memory of that, but I think that's because I was so young and it was just so natural. So that, I would have to say, was probably my first spiritual experience.
Okay, wow, okay, that's cool. Yeah, mine was much later. But anyway, what are the benefits then that you have had from your spiritual experiences?
Well, it's the peace, happiness, a feeling of, I meet the most amazing people. It's changed my life, changed my career. You know, it's just brought so much to me that I couldn't put it all down in the time or the space that I thought, you know, that I was going to be allowed. It's just been amazing.
Fabulous. Amazing. Okay. Well, that's great. Looks like you've had loads. So we'll
I have. I love every minute of it.
Okay. So what was your most profound spiritual experience?
It would probably have to be the first experience I had that reawakened my spirituality. I'll put it like that, because it actually catapulted me from the life that I had then to where I am now. And it was just incredible. I mean, I could tell you a little bit about it if you'd like me to, because it was just extraordinary.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it was about 5 years ago, and I was taking my daughter I was going into work, and I was taking my daughter with me because she was going into college. And we were in traffic, as we are at that time in the morning, or was. And I just said to her, I said, do you think if I left my body to medical science that they'd pay me now? And she said, Mother, nobody has these kind of conversations like we do. She said, I don't know. So I just said, well, I'm a little bit strapped for cash at the moment. So I just thought, you know, it'd be handy. So, and then I kind of forgot about it. It's just one of those things, you know, that you have in your head, it runs around and you just kind of open up and out it comes. Mm-hmm. But 2 days later, I had a car accident. And so unbeknownst to me, I was kind of using the law of attraction. And I'd put the thought out there, I'd expressed what I wanted, what I needed, and forgot about it, which is kind of what you have to do. And so the universe heard me, responded, and brought me the car accident, which brought me compensation because it wasn't actually my fault. But what that then did, I then went to a mind, body, spirit care, practically doubled up because I couldn't walk very well, and I had some healing there, and I responded very well to it, and I thought, well, if you know somebody else can do that for me, I'm sure I can do it for myself. And while we were walking around, I remember standing there, and I'd never heard of Reiki, and this is going back to like 1997, 98, and I watched this man doing this Reiki healing, and when he was doing it, it was I liken it to poetry in motion. He went with the energy, and his movements flowed, and all this kind of thing, and he was just so centered. It was beautiful. And then when he stopped the healing, he was so self-conscious and sort of doing all this, you know, and it's complete transformation. And a couple of days later, I was then in town, and my friend and I used to go into town lunchtimes, and I hadn't been for about 2 months because I wasn't able to walk that far. But I was feeling a lot better from the healing, so I went into town, and there was a door that was open, and it must have been open forever and a day, but I'd never seen it before. And in I went, and there was some leaflets and brochures on different things, complementary things, and one of them was Reiki, about healing yourself and recharging your batteries. So I took it, went back to work, rang up, booked on this weekend course. I hadn't got a clue what I was doing really, and went along about 3 weeks later, and who should open the door but the man that I'd been watching at the fair.
Wow.
And I know, how cool was that? And we got on really, really well, and we've stayed friends ever since. And but what that did, that kind of got me into this feeling and understanding that, do you know what? These things happen for a reason. Go with it. And I then couldn't get enough of complementary therapies. I retrained as a reflexologist, Indian head massage. I did Reiki 1, 2, and 3. I did infant massage. You name it. If it was there, I was going to do it. And what that then did, it kind of like, it got me to a position at work where I knew I didn't want to be there anymore. And so I jacked it all in and started up as a mobile complementary therapist.
Okay,
as you do. As you do.
As one does, yes. Okay, so number 4, who was your most profound teacher, or do you have one?
Well, yes, I did think about that, and she is a lady that I did intuitive colour therapy with, and she is an anthroposophist, and she believes in anthroposophy, created by Rudolf Steiner. It's a particular philosophy that believes that you know, you can not fix, because you can maintain your mental, your emotional, spiritual, and your physical body with natural things, with a natural way of doing things. And she's the most psychic, intuitive person I've ever met. She doesn't use it as I do, but she's just absolutely amazing. And she taught me to find my truth and not be afraid to share it. It's the most amazing gift she gave me.
Right stuff. Okay, so what spiritual advice would you give to somebody who is starting out on their journey?
I think trust and believe in what's happening, and that it's happening right now for a reason. So just to sit with it and feel it, and to try and communicate with it, make sense of it, and find out what it needs, what it feeds on, you know, and then feed it.
Great stuff. Okay, and what advice would you give to somebody who is more advanced on their journey?
Well, this I've had to give to myself on a lot of occasions. Don't wait for the next certificate. Don't wait for the next piece of learning. What you're being asked to do or called to do at the moment, you already are enough. You already know enough. You already have enough. You know, don't wait. If you're being called to do something, do it. Even if it's a small step towards it, do something.
Good one. Yep, fabulous. Okay, so do you have a key lesson that stood out for you?
I think I decided not to kind of like go into too much depth with what the questions you were asking me. So this is kind of just as it is. I think for me, being different means being unique, and, you know, celebrate your uniqueness. However it happens for you, however it is for you, you know, and it's all right. I know people need to sort of like feel as if they fit in sometimes, and to you know, that kind of thing. But it's all right to be unique. You can still be unique, but you can still have relationships. You can still be part of other things. But just, yeah, cherish that, relish that, be yourself.
Great. Okay. So, was there an exercise that contributed to your increased spirituality?
Not when I had the kind of reset, but you know, I mean, my practices at the moment, I think it's just kind of like just acknowledging to myself every day that, you know, like I said before about, you know, I am enough. I know enough, I do enough, I have enough. And that's kind of
an exercise you sort of do, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I feel when I sort of like talk with people, you know, that's kind of what I try and instill in them, empower with that feeling of, you know, you're enough. You have it all, you know.
Good. Okay, super. Okay, so the last one, number 9. What are your favourite spiritual practices, if you have any? Well, I'm sure you have. Yes.
Well, now where do I begin? No. Well, meditation, obviously. I start that, I do that even before I get out of bed in the morning. I tell myself that, you know, they're regenerating in a complete and perfect way, and that kind of thing, just to like start me off. I then do, at the end of the day, I do reflection. So I will go through the day and I will acknowledge the gifts that have been brought to me, you know, the understanding that I've found, and that kind of thing. Mindfulness, you know, eat and drink is for my health and well-being. What else do I do? I don't know. Just
Well, that's a lot, you know. Absolutely, that was wonderful. Okay, well, that was absolutely wonderful. So thank you very much for that. Okay, now we're going to go onto a section just sort of more talking about what you are. And if I can get Alfred to shut up in the background. He's honestly, of course, he has to have a piece of plastic. Sorry, Alfred's my cat. And he has to have a piece of plastic just right near here. And I've been trying to sort of drag him off surreptitiously, but no, he's got it and he's run off just so he's out of reach. So in a minute, I might just go and collect him and the piece of paper and put him somewhere else. But if he's okay, I'll leave him. So just tell me a bit about sort of what you do. You know, what's your job? What's your role? How do you see yourself? That sort of thing.
My title that I have at the moment, I suppose, is Intuitive Life Coach, Psychic Medium. I help empower people to find their truth and to express it however they choose to do that. It's not all about speaking, you know, expression can be in art, music, writing, creating, however they choose to find it. So my day can consist of doing one-to-one sessions of coaching. I also do one-to-one reading, psychic or mediumship. I do healing, and yeah, so it's just wonderful.
Superb. Well, Monica, I think we've got some questions from some of Facebook users. So while you're asking them, I should just go and grab Alfred. So excuse me a second.
Yes, and good you clarified it was a cat. We were worried for a moment. So yes, Sherry and Carrie were listening carefully and complimenting great insights from you, Linda. And also the way we structured our questions, which apparently make people think about their own spiritual awakening. So that's lovely. Thank you so much. We always appreciate everyone's comments. But back to questions. So Carrie is actually asking, I can bring it on the screen. What happens when you are scared to go towards what you are called to do because it's so much bigger than you feel ready for, simply? I guess we all have moments like that. What's your advice?
I would feel the fear, and I would feel ask the fear what exactly it is there for, why it's there, what the purpose of it is there. Generally, it's to keep us safe. But you know, you can do things like affirmations. You know, you can do a vision board because that's structured. That gets you. You're in the moment while you're creating a vision board. You know, and if you can kind of see where you want to be with it, sometimes that takes that fear away.
Yeah, and I also, if ever I'm scared, except I'm not usually, but that's very lucky. You know, it's just about doing small steps at what you feel like doing at the time, just a small step at a time, and doing something, you know, with other people who've done it before. you know, with meditations and stuff like that. That's often really good. We have some great meditations here, and it's you know, it's in you know, sacred space, and you know, people are holding space. And what holding space means is that you actually put a sort of protective barrier around everybody so that they don't have any you know, don't have any bad experiences and things. So it's you know, that's quite a good one as well.
Safe space is very precious. If you can create that safe space, that's half your job done.
Yeah, and learning protection techniques. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's so important. But I would say try not to ignore that calling, because it's so important to follow it. That's the true purpose, and you're so obviously asking for some action. Okay, so we've got one more question from Sherry here. I'll bring it up. Do you ever find that sometimes you feel stuck, or sometimes your mind is in an overdrive, or have insomnia, or the anxieties which we can feel sometimes? What's your advice here?
On the being stuck, I would have to go with what Nikki said in response to the last question, is take small steps. Look at where you want to be and what you can do in the meantime to get you there, but take them in small sections, small steps. Yeah. What was the other part of the question?
When we feel stuck, and when our brain goes into an overdrive or causes us an insomnia, anxiety.
Right. Write it down. Journal. Write it down.
Good one. Yeah, thank you, Linda. That's great. I just like to touch on something that's just happened to me, because we were just discussing it with Linda earlier, just before we went on, because it's rather exciting. I was actually doing a meditation with some people from Brazil who are actually here in the Abruzzo Borgo. So we were sitting there in the meditation, and it was absolutely wonderful, because all my guides and also a lot of the nature spirits, the old ones and things like this, were on half of the circle, and on their side were all of their guides and their spirits. And it was really interesting, because mine, who were obviously from Italy and Italian, they were welcoming these other spirits. And it was just absolutely beautiful, because in the middle of the circle, it was like they came together in this sort of welcoming. And it was sort of like, sort of a bit like silk coming together. I don't know whether you've ever seen those dancers with silk going up. It was absolutely amazing. And one of their guides was standing up and was asking me all about who I was, you know, and what I was doing here. So that was really interesting. So Linda and I and Monica were just discussing that beforehand. And it's how interesting it is that, you know, people and spirits from other countries, you know, they have ceremonies and you know, they do their own stuff. So is that something that you've seen a lot of, Linda, or not really? Do you mainly see other spirits?
I have travelled quite away, but I have not engaged in local spirit, which, you know, I was saying, or when you were mentioning before, I thought that was a really nice thing to do, to actually engage with, you know, local guides, or not local guides, but native guides and what have you. Yeah, spirit guides and things like that.
I call them the locals.
Yeah. You know, and I have been to some spiritual places, and you know, yeah, but that's I mean, yeah, the last place I went to was quite spiritual. There were quite spiritual moments there, realization about the laws of attraction and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, what's really lovely about where we are is that there's actually some ancient ones, and when they come in, it was really funny, because one of the ladies in the group, she felt really sort of cold. She didn't feel bad cold, you know, but she just sort of felt cold but yet warm, and often that's how they appear, the old ones. because they're old, and it comes. I just thought that was a really beautiful thing, because we love all our spirits and our ancestors and everybody else who's here, and it's just beautiful to see the differing sort of spirits and differing things that come in, which is just it blows my mind all the time, and it's just so yes. So I come down, but it was really, really beautiful. So seeing those or feeling them was just absolutely wonderful. Yeah,
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
Monica had some experiences when you came here too as well, didn't you, Monica? But they were more with the nature spirits.
Yes, yeah. Well, with me, yeah, there were the nature spirits which simply came to say hi, and I'm so grateful for that welcoming I received at the village. I could not plan for a better experience when I came for the very first time. And actually, I came twice, didn't I? Yes. And each time there was something different, something special happening. So that the place itself is magical, spiritual, and everything we do is simply enhanced by that energy. So it was beautiful. And when Nikki was talking about the different sort of native spirit welcomes, etc., it couldn't be more appropriate. We're such an international group that if you sort of think how many different nationalities we sort of bring together here on the spiritual awakening circle, that kind of gives me a goosebumps. How I thought we could sort of embrace that and bring spirits from all those beautiful different places. Just wow, it could be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the spirit world again. Yeah, the spirit world is absolutely amazing, and it just, awesome. I mean, yeah. Linda, just near where we are, there's a church over the road, which is over the valley, over the road. It's down over the valley. Church of the Mother Mary, and that was built because a shepherd saw a vision of her, and she said she wanted to build a church there. And her spirit is absolutely phenomenal in there. And just up the road, that was the 11th century, and literally a mile away, the whole of the village of Pietronico actually saw her, sort of as a vision, the whole village, in the 16th century. So there's a plaque there with 3 crosses there, and it's really, really, it's phenomenal. I mean, Monica and I went there, and I was saying do you remember, Monica? I was going down, Monica, well, maybe nothing will happen, but sometimes it does. Anyway, we were standing there, and I was just the middle of the road, and suddenly I was just crying. I was just crying. Every time a big spirit comes, I just cry like a blooming baby. And then I was standing in the middle of the road from nothing to have tears rolling down my face and stuff. Monica felt a bit weird in her stomach, which is how she feels it.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
24 gold butterflies, not orange, not yellow, but gold butterflies fly out into the road and go round and then fly back. There was none there before and none there afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Talk about, bringing things into the 3D world. I mean, that was just,
Never ceases to amaze me. Absolutely not. But there is a thought that butterflies are a soul looking for their next incarnation.
Yes, I don't know whether these guys were more of a, I don't know, it was sort of like a train of people, it was sort of like almost an escort. The fact that they were gold, I mean, I've never seen a gold butterfly before. And afterwards, I actually looked it up online, and there are gold butterflies, because they were gold, weren't they, Monica? They were gold,
absolutely. There was orangey gold color to them. It's special.
Really cool. So yes, but I totally agree with about the for butterflies in general, but I think these were more of a sort of escort, you know, because it would, they would sort of,
absolutely, if that's what you felt in the moment, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Have you had any experiences like that in the physical world, or not really?
All the time.
Okay, let's tell us about one then.
Oh my goodness, where do I start with that one? Okay. When I moved into this house, I couldn't settle, and I didn't know why, because it came to me through extraordinary circumstances. But anyway, I couldn't settle. So after about 3 months, I rang a friend, and she does feng shui. So I said, "Would you come over and feng shui the house for me?" I said, "Because there's something going on here, and I just can't settle." And so she came over, and she packed me off into the garden while she did all what she needed to do. And she then came out and she said, "I got rid of that spirit for you." So I've gone, "You got rid of that spirit for me?" And she said, "I got rid of the spirit for you." She said, "That's probably what was making you feel a bit unsettled." So I was a little bit miffed, because I thought, well, how dare she? That wasn't, what I called her in for, although maybe that's what she felt was going on. Anyway, she'd been gone about 2 days, and things kept disappearing, things kept moving. And one of them, the television would come on for no apparent reason, and it would just be a blue screen, there'd be nothing on it, or I'd be watching it and it'd suddenly go off. I'd lose the remote and find it in the most extraordinary places. And one night I went to bed, and I was quite a bit tired, so I thought I'd watch a bit of TV upstairs, which I don't always do, but I did on this particular night. Couldn't find the remote. So I thought, well, I'll go and have a bath and then just get into bed. So I went into the bath, and I'd been under the quilt, I'd been under the bedspread, I'd been under the bed, I'd been in drawers, thinking maybe I'd put it in a drawer somewhere, this remote control. Couldn't find it, so I went into the bathroom and finished off what I was doing, came back, and I can't remember what it was now, but I threw it onto the bed and it went clank. And as I looked, it actually hit remote control. So, which it could not have been there, because I'd had the bed off looking for the wretched thing. So what I did then is I just sat for about 20 minutes, and I just said to the person, I said, "You know what, I'm not sure who you are, because you haven't made yourself obvious to me, but you know, you were here before I was, and you're welcome to be here. You should never have been asked to leave, and just, you know, you can be here as much as you like, as often as you like, just stop messing with my head." And the television has been perfectly fine ever since. This is 4 years ago. We still have the same TV, you know. The remote has never gone missing again, and it, you know, it's just one of those things.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I was in the house today, and Enzo, one of my partners, he was coming through, and we were walking through the house, because I've got two doors, one on one side and one on the other, to go out into the garden. So he turns round and he says, "Oh, shut the door," and the door shut. Nobody was there.
Wonderful.
That was really funny. It was really cool.
It.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I had a similar story to Linda with my place, and Nikki, I think you kind of pick up on some presents, but I think the moral of the story is to be kind and respectful, rather than pushy and sort of territorial about places. In fact, we inherit from the past and ancestors. So that's beautiful. I have two technical questions here. Can I add them to our conversation? As we have, I think it is Harry asking, what's the actual difference between Reiki healing remotely and Reiki healing in person, if there is a difference?
Is that for me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, no, I mean, the only difference is that, you know, in the same room with someone, but you're actually channeling the energy to them not being there. But during the last lockdown, I did actually do healing online where people could connect with me on Zoom or Messenger, and they would then be in their own home, they'd be in their own bedroom or whatever, and they'd have their own music on, and I would be sitting where I was, and I would just be sending them healing energy, and they loved it, absolutely loved it. There's no difference, I don't feel. If your intention is to create space for the person that you're working with or for, then that's what will happen. They will be in a healing space of their own to facilitate the healing, and that's what you're doing, that's what you're creating. So I don't believe it matters whether you're actually physically in the same room with them or whether you're halfway around the world. It works just the same. Energy is energy. You can't get rid of it. It can move or it can transform in some kind of a way. But, you know, if your intention is to send that energy to whoever for that purpose, as long as that person is receptive, then that's what will happen.
Right.
That's great. That's great, especially now when we shouldn't be seeing people. That's a good optimistic message. Then we also have actually quite a few people interested in your courses. If you could tell us what kind of courses you provide briefly, that would be great. And I have one more question, which is not technical. So yes.
I provide all sorts of courses, classes, workshops, where I help empower people to find, like I said before, their spiritual truth, I suppose, maybe. I do angel workshops, I do Reiki attunements, I do tarot days, I teach psychic mediumship, you know, I do meet your confident self days, where people can actually engage with that part of them that is probably not as loving to itself as what it could be. And so they connect with that and then work with that. So I do a range of different courses, classes and workshops. It's what I feel called to do in the moment or at the time, and I'll put a workshop on and see what happens.
Great. There's a question at the bottom which says, sometimes I get stuck in the opposite nature of spirituality. We're guided to invite things into our lives. However, is the act of asking for something saying that you don't have it and therefore pushing it away?
That's a good, because I have actually got to that part before where people say, oh, you need this, you need that, you need something else, and you know, you should do this, you should do that, and you should do something else, and by the very idea of wanting it, you're giving yourself the idea that, you know, you don't have it. So I can see how that would work in a negative way. All I would say to you is that you know, everybody deserves the best. And if the best for you is to desire something, you know, and if you don't ask, you don't get. Whatever it is, you don't ask, you don't get. So whether it's engaging with the law of attraction, the laws of the universe, you know, ask for it. But believe that, you know, you want it, believe that you need it, believe that, you know, you're going to do the best with it that you possibly can. Because again, intention is huge.
Superb. Thank you. Well, that was absolutely wonderful. We're coming to the end of our time. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Linda?
Just when I was looking at the questions, I didn't go into them for answers, but when I was looking at them, you know, I thought even I take things for granted, and I was quite surprised actually at that coming up for me, because I do go through, like I said, self-reflection. I do give thanks and I am grateful for certain things, but sometimes you get into the habit of being grateful, of being thankful, and so I sat this afternoon and I thought, well, actually, how do I deepen that experience and how do I make that more meaningful for me? So my question to myself was, well, I'm grateful for that, but why? What has it brought me? You know, how can I use that to serve other people as well as myself? And so just by asking that one question, and I thank you, girls, for that, because you know, that's what I got out of the questions this afternoon. So yes, so I shall be a little bit more mindful about my gratitude.
Great stuff. Okay, Monica, have you got any last words?
I just really enjoyed the chat. It feels like it seems that our viewers enjoyed the chat a lot, and I'm taking that note on gratitude. I think that's a very good reminder. So thank you so much for that one, and everything else.
Great
Thank you
stuff.
for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I've loved every minute of it. Thank you.
Super.
And I wish you
Well,
both
thank
very
you.
well.
Thanks very much. Okay, take care,
Take good
everybody.
care.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening. Thank you. Bye.